weiß Bescheid. Nintendo.
Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Today is Saturday, September 3rd. A Saturday podcast for the first time in a long time and recorded live. What a month. August just flew by. There was a lot going on in August, tons of stuff to do, tons of realizations, tons of inner work that took place. And for me, and I never want to put something out that isn't going to be at least a 7.1. I know a lot of podcasts can kind of chew the cud and get a few things out there that just to sort of save time. But I've recorded a few episodes this month that I can't even put my finger on it, but just for whatever reason, it didn't sit well with me. It just wasn't something that I wanted to put out there. And I mean, it's ridiculous. I had an episode with my buddy Jason, and he has the J-Man podcast. It's a phenomenal podcast. He's got phenomenal guests. I strongly recommend you check it out. This was supposed to be episode 217. This was supposed to be the one that went up, but recently. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, how do we predict what is what? The energy on this one, for example, it just didn't hit. Something inside it said it's not your best work. Now, granted, it was a phenomenal conversation. I always enjoy my time with Jay, but it wasn't a podcast. It wasn't the energy and the essence that this is, and that's so fine line and so minute. Like I can't even explain it. Like to anyone that would be looking at me and judging the scenario, for the most part, they'd be like, "You're nitpicking. You're picking at this, that, and the other thing." But honestly, it was an hour and 40 minutes, and the best thing I can say is, it was a great conversation, and I'm super happy to have caught up with my buddy Jay. Was it Mental Mastery Alliance caliber? No. It both of us. I don't think it was a stretch for both of us to sort of, be out there. I think because we're both such good hosts, toot. We lead a conversation in the form of a host, so you could certainly see that there was a fun banter back and forth. If I do air it. And it might go into the archives. It goes up one day. But I mean, for the most part, I just want to put out solid content and solid quality for me. And, we live in a world right now where we're taught heavily to think about the other person. And by the other person, it means fucking anyone other than you, right? The whole COVID narrative, for example, was all about, mask up to protect somebody else. And when you look at how all of life really is. When I say all of life, I mean all of everything that's been handed to us. It's all about the idea and the thought of protecting somebody else. If we protected ourselves, if we reached deep down and grabbed and protected and took care of ourselves, that wouldn't be a thing. Now, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say that? Well, there are some people who can't do that, right? So even in the idea that we can take care of ourselves, there's this fabrication inside, deep down inside us that says, some people can't, so you shouldn't. Like, it's phenomenal how thoroughly well we're programmed. But the main thing is people don't see it. People don't understand it. People don't grasp it. And are they supposed to? Honestly, at this point, from what I'm understanding and observing, I don't think so. I think those people are supposed to tell you other people can't help themselves. I mean, obviously, not everyone on the planet is capable of helping themselves. Everyone on the planet is in existence in accordance to lessons that need to be learned for oneself and for the collective as a whole. So we need to take care of ourselves, and by taking care of ourselves, it could be taking care of the elders in our family that can't take care of themselves, taking care of anyone that's injured or anyone that's got any need whatsoever. right? But that's not everybody. If we were to say, a big, let's say 25% of the population needed help. 1/4 of all of us here needed full assistance. That's still 4 of us for every one of them. 3 of us. And that means 3 people can help 1 person. And in doing so, 3 people can also help themselves. There's so many people that want to fight this motion, this notion. And at no point am I saying don't help anybody else, because that's bullshit. Right? When I say that. And then you have to think about what that really entails. It's like, don't hold the door for somebody who can't open a door. Like that. Why would you say that? Right? Not holding the door, for example, when it comes to helping yourself, not holding the door speaks volumes of your character. Holding the door also speaks volumes of your character. So when you want to help yourself become a better version of yourself, look around you and see what you can do to help others. That's literally you helping yourself by helping others. Right? But to blindly do as you're told, because if you don't, you're quote unquote killing grandma, is absurd. And I say these things because technically everything that's ever been put out there for you to look at, everything that exists in your personal trials and tribulations, everything you've ever overcome, everything you've ever had to face, every terrible thing that you've ever done or has been done to you, every great thing that you've ever done or has been done to you, all of it are parts of you. All of it exists for you. And this is something that we simply can't grasp and that we're not allowed to grasp. That it's okay to focus on ourselves, even to just glimpse at ourselves. And that doesn't mean ignore everybody else and dive 100% into you and crash into other cars because they're in your way at a green light or a red light. Like, the world wants to, if you have an idea that goes against the world, you'll see the world itself as a collective push back against you and crush you, even in your own mind. If you decide that you want to try something new and different, you'll think of what the world will say to you. So the world's programming, and here's the neat thing, the world's programming is inside your head. You already know what the quote-unquote world is going to do because you're programmed to do that. But what separates you from everybody else is that you're also programmed into free thought. And yes, free thought, awakening, all that sort of stuff is part of the programming because this is the game that we're playing. The game of awareness, the game of being a human, the human experience. So all of the stuff that you're going through, it truly is you versus you. All of the battles that you're fighting and you think are external are a result of you, your efforts, your ability to grow. All of them will teach you to be a stronger version of you. It may not be what you want or how you experience it at the moment in time, but, death comes from our comfort zone. If we don't get up and move, terrible things happen. Even if you're on the right track and you're not moving, you're going to get hit by the train that's coming behind you. Everything that we do here in this reality is designed to make us a better version of us. And in that same lineage, there are people in this reality that I firmly believe, the NPCs, and we've had this conversation 1,000 times, they exist to compel your game. They exist because without them, there wouldn't be things for you to view as contrast, to be able to bounce your ideas off. So when you see somebody attack you or aggressively be a certain way, or when you see President Biden with his red background demanding things and telling people that all Republicans are the devil, like what? The world itself is revealing itself in this day and age. We're watching something totally different. But if you ask anyone who's still dead asleep, all they're doing is regurgitating the same shit that they saw before. Herein lies that rub for them. The world has to get crazier to wake up the people deeper and deeper. So picture yourself at the surface. You were the first ones to awake. And now the hand that's pulling up your hand is going, this is the analogy. Your hand is going into a pile of sand. You yourself were at the top of that pile. There are people at the bottom of that pile where your hand starts to scoop. Right? So this hand is now going deeper and deeper. It's getting weirder and weirder. But you became aware of it right away. So now you're just watching it get crazier. But there are people down there only waking up to it now because it's so bloody crazy. Remember, the world believes in coincidence. The world is taught to believe that that's just a coincidence. It's just this, it's just that. You can just dismiss this. Oh, what are your sources? Where are your links? Because every single thing that we understand or grasp or grow from, it's like a one-off. But then your mind ties them all together. If this, then that. Somebody who's not done any of the work only hears your stories in divided sections. So it sounds like you're talking about, it sounds to them like you're saying 14 different crazy things that have nothing to do with each other. And they can't tie it together. And that's cool, right? So here's where they come into your life. Because they call you crazy and you feel that you have to defend your craziness, although craziness is kind of fun, you then have the opportunity to speak back to them what you are actually seeing, how you tied it together. And by you speaking that back to them, maybe they wake up, maybe they see it. That's none of our concern. What actually happens and what is your concern and the observer and the speaker's concern is that you yourself hear what you're saying, and by doing that, you get to refocus on it. Once it comes out of your mouth, you get to hear it again. You get to practice it. You get to understand it a little bit better. You get to fine tune it. They're going to ask questions too that you yourself never asked, which will give you the opportunity to answer those questions, which will give you the strength, a thicker mortar as you're building your brick walls. And those aren't brick walls of defenses. I'm just arbitrarily saying mortar and brick wall of understanding. Your beautiful brick wall of understanding. Fantastic. Humanity is lived in the challenges. I don't understand right now why people want to fight each other. I mean, I do understand it. We've been programmed to do it. But when you truly understand and when you truly get past a lot of things, you see that the battle really truly does come down to you versus you. And everything that you're witnessing and everything that you're specifically observing is helping you to become the version of you that you need to be, the version of you that you came here to be. And the cool thing is, once you arrive, once you get there, once you become that version of you, that version of you becomes another version of you. So there is no end game. There is no end result. There's no final destination. Great movie, by the way. How many of you, speaking of that movie, get out of the way when you see a log truck on the road? Yeah, you know you're of a certain generation when. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a quick one. Thank you very much for your attention. And in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.